Hello mates, welcome to On Point TV. As always, I'm here with the Director of Training at On Point in Raleigh, Guy, and I want to hear about the Challenge House. The fact that we have this facility right here in-house absolutely has blown my socks off since day one. You've got classes coming up, an introduction to the Challenge House. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, first about the Challenge House, or as some people would call it, the Shoot House. The Challenge House, we actually have two things in there. We have the Shoot House itself, which is the mock-up of a residential structure, a house. And then there's an outer edge, and we use it for various different types of force-on-force training. Typically with what we call a stress vest, which is a system that you put on a vest, you have a little belt, and you have a laser gun that's very much like a regular gun, or in some cases is a regular gun with special cartridges. You get shot in the vest, or in some cases a face mask sort of system, and it will give you a stimulus in the belt, which can be a vibration, or it can be all the way up to a fairly significant, get your attention
electric
type
shock.
of shock.
Brilliant.
So it provides some incentive to not be shot. And it takes all the guesswork out of, when you played cops and robbers when you were a kid. Oh, you hit me. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, absolutely you did. Okay. So we have both of these systems, but it's unusual to have an indoor non-lethal shoot house in most facilities, particularly here in Raleigh, but frankly, almost anywhere. I can name on one hand the number that I've seen or been in the United States. They have these things commonly on military bases. Police departments will have them, shoot houses, non-lethal shoot house type training facilities, live or not, and then training facilities like Thunder Ranch, Gun Sight, Sig Sauer Academy, Mid-South, places like that. But for just, again, the average person,
doesn't get to experience
you don't
that.
see it very often. So it's great that we have this facility to utilize. And one of the classes that we are doing right now is called Introduction to the Shoot House. Again, a shoot house is a facility that it's a mock-up of some sort of indoor facility. It might be a residential structure. It might be a mall. It might be an office building. It can be anything really that's indoors. And one of the things you quickly learn is if you've never had to fight inside a structure as opposed to outside, things tend to be very close. They happen very fast, and there are just a tremendous number of places that you can be ambushed from. There's all sorts of corners and hiding spots. Some things that look like cover, things that would absorb bullets, for example. They don't absorb bullets, drywall, all right? Bullets will go right through that.
Right through it,
but we can't see through it, so we think it's covered.
False sense of security.
Yes, it gives you a false sense of security. So as soon as, when you go from a square range where everything is fairly benign and you're in what I call a two-dimensional environment, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a three-dimensional environment.
Changes everything.
It changes everything, and even, for example, our Intro to the Shoot House class, we're going to teach you how to deal with corners. We're going to teach you how to deal with doors. We're going to focus on fundamentals like mindset, talk a little bit about that, marksmanship, which seems easy, but sometimes it's not when you're under stress, even at close range, and then gun handling. Gun handling is one of those things that again, if you're on a square range, you're used to coming to the range a lot and shooting at a single target with unlimited amounts of time. Gun handling's,
it's easy.
It's easy. People can load, they can unload, they can reload, they can do malfunction clearances with unlimited time, with no stress or limited stress. Well, when you add that into a three-dimensional environment, someone's in there trying to hurt you, then
or even if you're trying to work around even if you're trying to walk around your own family, because for most people, if they think about, okay, I'm going to stand my ground in my castle. Okay, great. But now you've potentially got family members you're working around as well. That changes the dynamic of firearm handling completely.
Rule number 4 of, cardinal rules of firearms handling. Know your target, know your backstop, what's beyond. Well, this is where that really starts to come into play, because even if you hit your adversary, depending on what kind of firearm you're using and ammunition, it can go right through that person, and it could be a threat to somebody on the other side. So there's just a whole lot to think about, and this is training that not a lot of people get to do.
No,
you know.
don't.
So we're started at a basic level. This is going to be our baseline class for going into the shoot house, and we're introducing. We actually use a real gun with what we call simunition, so it's shooting a little pellet in effect, and we're using threat and non-threat targets. So we're going to know where you're going to hit. We're going to see if you hit a non-threat, right? Statistically, just in case you're wondering, most shootings that occur in a home, who gets shot? Well, unfortunately, it tends to be family members, particularly when we're at night on certain situations. So it's a good place to start. If you ever have to do that. Hopefully you never do. Hopefully you can just get out of whatever situation and leave that to the police and the military. If whatever their job is, it's not your job, but if you get caught, say, in an active shooter scenario or home invasion, and you have to clear rooms just to escape, it's good to know how to do that.
No, the choice is removed, right? The bad guy gets to choose when and where.
Absolutely.
If it happens to be your house and you need to know how you're going to move and deal with your own family members. About the only thing missing in this thing I've heard so far is waking people up at 3:30 in the morning to do it. That's the only thing missing.
Yeah, as soon as we can figure out how to safely tranquilize people and get them to wake up, while half asleep, then we might try that.
Perfect. Awesome. So when is that next set of classes for this one?
We have two in March. So what I recommend is go check the On Point website, look for training, and look for Introduction to the Shoot House, and you'll see the 2 times that we have going in March, along with all of our other training offerings.
Okay, fantastic. Well, you heard about the Challenge House. I highly recommend. It's one of the aspects of this facility that enticed me to join myself, because they've got such a great facility as well as the Challenge House. So we look forward to seeing you in one of the classes coming up soon. Cheers.